Today, whatever time zone you're coming in from, especially if it's early or late, an extra big thank you to you for showing up. And I'm sure each of you know this, but I can't help but tell you how fortunate you are to be in the good, caring, successful hands of Trevor's. He is so passionate to help you raise the quality of your life, not just with the money you make in the opportunity, but overall to raise the quality of your life. And I'm really, really excited for you that you get to work with him, and I'm honored to be here today. So I have to give you a bit of a trigger warning. Some of the things that I share might for you be a triggering memory of things that you have gone through in your own life. It's one of the reasons I give Trevor my permission to share my cell phone number with each of you, and we can spend 30 minutes free on the phone just talking about it or on Zoom, no matter where you are in the world. So if anything I say leads to upset, please know I'm here for you and we can help you move forward in a really powerful way. So we're going to talk about success. We're going to talk about sales and money. But before we do, let's talk a little bit about the journey. Not because my story matters, but because your story matters. I'm only going to tell you some of my personal things just to give you the confidence that no matter what you're going through now, what you will go through eventually, and regardless of what you've already gone through and lived with, I want you to be confident after this talk that you can go out and design an incredible business, an incredible life, and have an incredible relationship with yourself as well. So here's a little bit of TMI. Trevor, are we ready for some TMI? You said nice things like building a successful business. Yes, I did build a $60 million downline. I did it as a single mom. I was in my 20s when I got started in that business and was the first single mom in the company to ever hit the top position in that way. I did it at a very difficult time. And my reason why back then was as a single mom, I inherited $250,000 of debt from my former spouse who went bankrupt. Being 27 and needing to pay off that level of debt while running a few businesses, dealing with a baby that was 10 months old and still breastfeeding, it of course wasn't easy, but it was non-negotiable for it to work out. I needed to pay off that debt. I needed to provide for my son. I needed to go on from that messy chapter of my life and get into a better one. When I was 30, I met my second husband, and I'm about to turn 44. So the last 14 years have been quite a bit different than the first 30. But here's one I want to share with you about adversity and success and how they can live beautifully together. Had I not come from the abusive childhood that I went through, had I not battled depression from the age of 8 to 16, had I not survived 2 suicide attempts at 16, or a violent rape at knife point when I was 17, which led to lots of reconstructive surgeries, reproductive surgeries, and cervical cancer. Had I not had the low self-worth I did as a young woman, I wouldn't have picked that first marriage. But had I not picked that first marriage, which included domestic violence, and had I not had that first husband, and had he not gone bankrupt, and had I not been a single mom, I would have
This is
never
our prayer
considered
today.
network
This is
marketing.
our prayer always.
Thanks for praying. So, friends, had I not been through those obviously difficult and bumpy things that many of you might have been through as well, I would have never hit that rock bottom moment at the age of 27. See, a friend that Trevor and I share in common, he piqued me about that business every 3 months for 2 years. And the first 7 times he approached me, I wasn't open. I owned a traditional brick and mortar business. I was in the health and fitness industry. Co-owned a gym. I owned a health and fitness company. I owned a franchise of mommy and baby fitness. And my vision of business was you have cards, you have staff, you have a building, you have lease. And I wasn't the nicest person when he was trying to pique me about his opportunity, but he didn't give up on me. And on the 8th time that he approached me, he said, Hail, will you look at my business? And I said, I think I better. About to go through a really messy divorce, lots of financial problems. I'm going to need to find a way to make a whole lot more money. And I'm only going to have about 15 to 17 hours a week to do it in. I looked at the plan, I got started, and I can never be thankful enough for having been introduced to the great industry each of you are a part of now. And it doesn't matter that they're different opportunities. It's the opportunity to have personal growth attached to a compensation plan, to work with great people, to have mentorship, and to be able to make money on your own terms. So it took me 26 months as a single mom to pay off $250,000 of debt. By the time I hit 30, I was telling the story. I'm little, I'm 5 feet tall. I was telling the story of how the little single mom got cancer free, came out of domestic violence, and became debt free, all through this great industry of network marketing. It is what launched my speaking career. And it's the only reason I've spoken for over 2 million people is others wanted to know the story of how could they go through the storms of their lives and come out on top. Something really special happened 14 years ago. I was doing a home meeting in that company. You see, friends, you are so lucky that all you need to do is share a 7-minute peak interest video. Because when Trevor and I were building our business 17 years ago, it was evenings, Saturdays, and Sundays. It was driving all across the province, flying across the country, flying to the US, doing meetings in people's living rooms where we would have to be there for 3 hours. It was physical paperwork we'd have to make photocopies of and send in with a fax machine. So I'm dating us a little bit here, but the way your opportunity is structured is so beautifully simple and so beautifully smooth to run in comparison to what we had to do 17 years ago. So here's the thing. 14 years ago, I was in a living room. It was an hour drive each way, and it was a snowstorm day. And I asked the people who attended that home meeting to learn about the opportunity who else had kids. And my son was 3.5 at the time, and nobody put their hand up. All I said as a joke was, "Who wants to borrow my 3-year-old for the weekend?" Just trying to break the ice with this group of gentlemen that had no children. This gentleman that's on the book cover behind me, who's been my husband and my partner for the last almost 14 years, he was in the crowd and he said, quote, "Hey, miss, if you're there, I'll be there." And I can't thank network marketing enough because from my bumpy childhood, many mental health challenges, a domestically dangerous marriage, coming out with a mountain of debt, and entering an industry that I never thought I would have considered as a valid business, but of course, I learned it's better than every form of business I had ever seen before. I got to meet my now husband for the rest of my life. He adopted my first son. That boy is almost 18 today, and he's been raised by my second husband for 14 years. Also, he's the daddy of our 9-year-old and our 7-year-old. And my life is completely different because of this industry. And while, yes, there's success to talk about, like having a team responsible for 13,866 great volunteer participants, like a $60 million downline, like residual income, like hitting ranks, that's not the most important part of the story. The most important part is that you can do good things even when tough stuff's happening around you. So I want to tell you a little bit about the tough stuff that happens around me today. I raised 3 amazing boys with a long list of special needs. We're talking a rare genetic chromosome disorder, Tourette's, anxiety, ADHD, OCD, ODD, and some other debilitating mental health realities, including a traumatic brain injury. I myself live with 24/7 chronic pain. I have a bone condition and a nerve condition, and you're still going to find me smiling, using a healthy mindset, taking action in my life every day. And one thing that a mentor taught me many years ago is we can either use the adversities in our life right here, and they can be the thing that stops us from leaving the house, stops us from piquing interest, stops us from talking to people, stops us from getting uncomfortable. Or we can take all that stuff and stick it under our butts, and it can be the fire. It can be the fuel. It can be the very reason why we go out there and we tell people, hey, I'm going through hard things, but you still deserve this message today. Hey, my life's not easy or perfect, but I'm still working towards something good, and I'll be here for you to do that. And so I want to encourage you that no matter what adversity you have, what cards you have in your deck, if you're really ready to be successful with this business for yourself, for your life in general, it's possible to change and it's going to take some changes. I was once a very shy person. I ate my lunch in the bathroom for 2 years in high school and was so painfully shy. I couldn't speak in front of people. I couldn't eat in front of people. To then go to speak at stadiums for 29,000 person crowds without breaking a sweat, I promise you. I'm not telling you this because it's special that I did it. I'm telling you this because you can make a 180 and become the type of business owner and life owner and body driver and mind driver that will help you design the life you love. And I want to share with you a couple tips on how I do it, how my teams in the past of thousands and thousands of people did it, and how you can do it for yourself. The first tip: if mental health is a challenge for you or anybody that you love, I encourage you to work together and make your joy schedule. Our minds are carrot minded, as in, why do you go to work? You want to know what you're getting paid. Why do you get dressed in the morning? You have people you don't want to disappoint. But we also deserve the carrot of joy. So every night before you go to bed, decide, what are you doing tomorrow that you can look forward to? What are you doing tomorrow in the first half of the day? What are you doing once the day is done? And here's what I mean by the day is done. You've filled all the buckets: self, relationship, happiness, work and revenue generating activity, being of service, if that's a value of yours. How are you going to look forward to the end of your day? What are you going to look forward to at the end of the weekend when you have done the thing all week long? Our minds like to live with forward motion and know what we can look forward to. Tip number two is to have for yourself a really empowering morning and evening routine. When I say the word ritual, you might think of sage and bonfires. That is okay too. But when I say morning and evening ritual, I don't mean that type. What I mean is, what are you going to curate for yourself as the essential elements that you will predictably and consistently do to start your morning powerfully? And what will you predictably and consistently do to close your evenings powerfully so that you can get the right amount of rest to wake up with the right amount of energy to go do the thing? And friends, the more hard cards you have in your deck right now, the more challenges in your own body, your mind, your marriage, your house, with your parents, whatever it is that you're dealing with, the more we must be pristine about our self care habits, our mental care habits, our physical care habits, and good sleep is non negotiable. Gone are the days where our network marketing leaders are saying things like, we can sleep when we're dead. No, my friends, I have to tell you the truth. If you want to be successful in business and you want your frontal lobe to have good cognitive functioning, get your rest. Tip number three: we don't just have 24 hours in a day, we have 168 hours in a week. And the most successful and fulfilled people in the world, they don't track the day only. They look at, how do we optimize your 168-hour week? Because Trevor is kind enough to record this, I encourage you to listen back to this part about the tips. And the action item or the homework or the self work would be, take a blank sheet of paper, write the numbers 168 at the top. From that, subtract how you give your life away right now. Because if you show me your schedule, you tell me a lot. I know your values, your commitments, your boundaries, your strengths, your weaknesses. I know the quality of your life right away. And I promise you, how you give away your time is something that you can control, some of it, so we might as well. Subtract 40 hours for work or 20 hours or whatever you're putting in. Once you subtract the time to sleep, eat, shower, move, do a little bit of wind down, once you subtract the basics, most people are using 152 out of 168 hours, and that doesn't leave a whole lot left. So be careful how you give away your time, especially if you want to build a six-figure business within this company and you want to do that in less than 15 or 20 hours a week. You're going to have to be impeccable about your time allocation. Next tip: you are part of a business team, and a great one with Trevor at the helm. But you also have something I call your I team. Your I team stands for the 5 essential resources, and how you give them away is really going to contribute to your success or non success, not just in business, but in life. Your I team stands for the following: intention, time, energy, attention, and money. Let's distinguish the difference between intention and attention. These are your 5 resources, friends: intention, time, energy, attention, and money. Intention is the goal you want to give birth to when the work is done. It is when you say, I'm going to peak this many people a day. I'm going to hit this level by this time. It is something that doesn't yet exist, but you are intending to create it. Attention is what happens when you go on Instagram to peek a friend and get stuck in their stories. And 2 hours later, you're looking at pictures of old high school friends that you don't talk to anymore. Attention is tricky. You need to be the steward of it because it's going to get yanked this way and that way. And if you're not careful, you can start to feel like your days are busy, but those days won't make you money. And if you're busy and you're not either making your life good or your business good, you are wasting the precious time. Time is not a renewable resource. Now let's do a few more tips and let's talk about money. Money is important. Money doesn't change you, but money will allow you to be more of who you already are. If you're generous, adding money to your kitty is going to enable you to be more generous. You need to know what your 3 budgets are. What must you make a month or you're in trouble? What do you want to make a month to have a little bit more fun? And what do you dream about bringing into your household every month so you can be you uncapped? You can be your spender, your investor, your saver, your donator, your protector. It's very important to know your 3 numbers. And then we need to match those numbers to your comp plan and design for you. Make sure you're very clear. What is the comp plan pathway inside your business? What are the activities that you can control daily that are likely to get you there so that you can hit whichever of those budgets you're gunning for right now? Survival, fun life, or dream life. All of them can be possible, but not if you're wishy-washy about the comp plan and not if you don't know your budget. Money comes to people that have a clear intention for it. To be a steward means to be a safe keeper, a deserving receiver, and a careful flower of the resource. So more success will come to you in your business when you get so clear about how you're going to steward that money. The next thing, it seems silly, but it's a big deal, and it's the difference of promises and goals. So Trevor might have shared with you, I coach on 3 categories. I am a business coach, an individual coach, and a marriage and relationship coach. Now, I have a specialty in infidelity, and I am a certified wedding officiant, so this example is funny. I want you to picture standing on a beautiful beach in the tropics, and you've been invited to your best friend's wedding. And at their wedding, just before they exchange their promises, they say, it's my goal to stay faithful to you. Just let that land for a second. I want you to compare that to watching your best friend's future spouse say, I promise to be faithful to you. What do your friends think? Is promise a little bit stronger than goals? Yes or yes? So part of why you might not have been experiencing all the success that you want to just yet is you make goals in your life and you make goals in your business. And I'm not saying goals are bad. It's just goals aren't the end point. They are the start. After you declare a goal, I want you to dissect it and figure out which piece of it can you promise for. You cannot promise to make $3,000 this month, but you can promise to do the daily actions that Trevor can lay out for you, and those actions have a high likelihood to lead to the success. But goals are weak, promises are strong. If you take one thing away from today's talk, I encourage you to shift how you speak about the goals you are setting. And if it's just a goal, so it's nice if it happens, but no biggie if it doesn't, then ask yourself, what of this can I promise for? I can't promise to lose 10 pounds this month. I can promise to walk 10,000 steps a day. Unless an emergency occurs, I can promise to drink my water. So you want to get this healthy relationship between the business goal and the real promises that will fill it in. And the last couple things, my friends, is this. Sales is a sexy, beautiful, generous, loving, holistic word. Sales is not a dirty word. And so, if you are somebody where your heart gets in the way of you charging people, or your shyness gets in the way of you asking, or your self-worth gets in the way of you thinking you deserve it, if you have a block around money, sales, peaking, inviting, and closing, please don't suffer any longer with that by yourself. Please reach out to Trevor And if he thinks it's appropriate, he'll connect you with me for a free 30-minute coaching session. Let's get that block out of your way. Here's the thing about sales. You see, I know what it's like to overcome cancer in a holistic way. And I would be a terrible human being if I kept that to myself. I really believe that any person I meet, even a stranger I overhear at the grocery store, they deserve to know about the things I've done to be cancer-free for 27 years. And in your business, it's like having the cure for cancer. In fact, based on the products that your company offers, they are incredible preventative tools towards cancer, diabetes, heart disease, dementia, and a whole host of other illnesses. So if you're ever feeling, oh, I don't want to bother people, who am I to bug them, put them on the spot? I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. What if they can't afford it and it's triggering that I've asked them? Scrap all of that. It's not who are you to bother people. Who are you not to? Each of us on this line, we are not the boss of other people's lives. We don't have the right to pre-decide for them whether they're going to say yes, no, or later. And we owe it to the people. You owe it to the people in your life to say, hey, it's cool if you say no, but I want to make sure you knew this existed. If you like it, I'll help you. If you're not interested, I'll still love you, but I'm not going to bed keeping the secret to myself. So Trevor, I'm going to encourage your whole team to come off mute, and I'm going to say a mantra, and I want each of you to repeat it after me. This is the sales mantra I had to tell myself for years before I learned how to be someone who could charge and feel like sales is the most generous thing in the world. So
unmute your lines, guys. Everybody unmute.
Unmute. I'm going to say it slowly. You're going to repeat after me, and then we're going to close out our beautiful time together. When I spare you.
When
I spare you.
Oh, I love all the gorgeous accents. So that first part was when I spare you. Here's the next part. The cost of my services.
The cost of my services.
Beautiful. So here's what we've done so far. When I spare you, the cost of my services. Here's the next part. I cost you.
I cost you.
Your transformation.
Your transformation.
Let's make it a sentence, friends. When I spare you the cost of my services, I cost you your transformation. Do it together. When I spare
you
the cost
of my services,
I cost you
Your transformation.
Trevor, you can mute everybody. Thank you for doing that. So friends, I want you to understand.
I muted you too. Sorry, you have to unmute.
As we close today, I want you to understand the meaning of that phrase. If I'm helping somebody in their life to prevent their suicide, deal with their debilitating mental health, and find their confidence again, I'm not cheap as a coach, but who am I not to give them the chance to know that a lifeline is available? It's up to them to decide if they want to purchase it, not purchase it, or tell me to call them back later. But I know that what I sell in the world as a coach saves people's lives. I know what I sell saves people's marriages if they're dealing with infidelity and a communication breakdown. And I know that what I sell helps business owners find their worth and their words and their closing rate and their success. So I have stopped looking at sales as a dirty word where I'm bugging people. And I have started to feel like it's the way we carry our torch. If you are lit up and you know that what you have can make a positive difference in somebody else's lives, it's not shame on you for selling, it's shame on you for not selling. Please take this message away with you and remember that it is true. If you spare someone the cost of your services, you will cost them their transformation. They will still shop at retail. They will spend more money than they need to on the products that are life-giving and health-giving for them. They will miss out on a chance to make residual income or even know that such a thing could exist in their lives. And it's okay if people say no to you. You don't just want to have a recession-proof business. You want to become a little bit rejection-proof, because they're not saying, Trevor, I don't like you, your hair is funny. They're saying, thanks for sharing, it's not for me. And we move on and we still love people. So as I have to say goodbye to run to an appointment for someone whose life needs a difference made in it today, I really want to thank each of you for being here. I want to congratulate you that you said yes to work alongside your team, your sideline, your upline, your downline, and your Trevor. He is going to be an impassioned leader alongside you the whole way in the trenches. And please remember, don't let what's happening to you now or what's happened to you before or what's going to happen eventually, don't let that be the reason you don't go to work. Don't let that be the reason that you don't put a smile on your face and put some joy-producing activities in your calendar. Take it from here, stick it under here, and let it be the reason why you go out and help your own life raise, which we can only do when we raise the lives of others. Brother Trevor, Hailey out. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hailey. And ladies and gentlemen, let's show our gratitude to Hailey DeSantis and
oh my God.
can unmute and say thank you.
Thank you, Hailey. Thank you, Hailey.
Thank you, Hailey. It was
Thank you.
incredible.
Thank you, Hailey.
Thank you,
Wow.
Hailey.
Wow.
Amazing.
Art and the clarity.
Thank you, Hailey. God
Thank
bless.
you.
Thank you so much.
I love your beautiful world of beautiful people here, Trevor, and I'll let you continue on with your amazing scheduled meeting. Please share with your group. I'm going to actually put it in the chat. Here is my cell phone number, friends. If you are struggling and you'd like a free 30 minutes, I am here for you. Trevor is here for you if it's about your business and your comp plan. If it's about mental health or a challenge, I'm here for you. We are both here, and I wish you a blessed Sunday, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Jerusalem had rejected